Hi, my name is Hilary Lynch, and my project was to look at biologically based model of Alzheimer's disease based on speech deficits seen in the disease. So the goals in my proposal were to identify speech impairments that are common across individuals with Alzheimer's disease, and then after identifying those, to create a theoretical model for these speech impairments. So to take a step back, Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative disease affecting a variety of mental functions, including memory deficiencies, mental tasks such as sequential planning, getting dressed in the morning, those type of tasks, and also speech deficits, in particular, primary progressive aphasia. So primary progressive aphasia is when the language and speech of an individual becomes impaired. And there are three subtypes of PPA. And each subtype has its own set of symptoms and biologically based characteristics. From my literature research, the first subtype, LVPPA, is the most commonly reported aphasia related to Alzheimer's disease. So this is where my literature research focused on. So LVPPA has its own set of speech impairments, distinct from the other two subtypes. And most of these deficiencies are related to single words. So naming an object and understanding single words and those type of language impairments. So with LVPPA, there are certain biological characteristics, and I've listed some of the specific findings here that I found in my literature research, but the overall takeaway for me was that there's a biological difference seen between LVPPA and control groups themselves, like people without without PPA. But there's also significant differences between LVPPA and the other subtypes. So we can really get specific with LVPPA when looking at the biological differences. So this is where I got to, this is the point that I got to with my project. So next steps would be to further the literature research on these topics, and then create the initial theoretical model. After that, we would want to identify the type of data to collect for the model and go ahead and go through the process of collecting that data. So the impact on Neuralex is, though I didn't get as far in my projects as I would have hoped, I think this lays out a good base starting point for future work, and could identify where to focus data collection, especially since collecting this type of data for PPA patients and Alzheimer's patients is very hard, and there's not much data out there. As for the impact on me, I come from a biomedical undergrad degree, but am currently getting a computer science master's. So this project was an interesting way to do some more of the literature research with the intent of making a biomedically driven technology based on this literature research. I also got to get a further understanding of Alzheimer's disease, which has been an interest of mine, and do some more higher level thinking of end-to-end planning when creating a new model. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Slack or email me at hlynch3@gmail.com.